All right, good morning, folks. Just want to make sure this works. Today's the 1st of October, 2025. Happy hump day. Hope your all's week is going well so far. All right, so here we go. We got tropics here still active. Got Humberto up here, which is undergoing extratropical transition north of Bermuda, and Imelda, which has developed an eye recently on satellite imagery and is forecast to accelerate and move over or really close to Bermuda um, by this evening. So here's a water vapor loop. The level water vapor. You can see the Humberto looking less organized, and then there's Bermuda, and there's Imelda forecast to generally move this way. Okay. Unfortunately for Bermuda, there's hurricane watches, warnings actually now. I'm going to wait till I get the 5 a.m. Update to do the National Hurricane Center update for y'all. But it's pretty evident that Imelda is going to have major impacts for the island at this point. Pretty high confidence anyway. So moving to the a more zoomed in look. Can't really see Bermuda here, but you have Imelda down here. This is the water vapor loop. Humberto up here looking less organized, right? Long wave infrared. Shows the Imelda's cloud tops cooling on the northern side, kind of obscuring the eye here, right? So really no question that it's going to impact Bermuda. It's just really boils down to the track and what part of the storm goes over it, where the most intense winds are, because it'll be in the middle of extratropical transition when it's moving over there, and it may have some enhanced winds from the jet stream at that point. Um, so it could be a Category 2 storm that moves over the island. All right. So from the Bermuda Weather Service, this is their cone I got from their website, right? A forecast be a Cat 2, and their forecast calls for the strongest winds to go right over top of Bermuda here around 9 p.m. this evening, or a little bit later, between 9 p.m., maybe 10 p.m. or so. And it's moving as of 2 a.m. was 15 knots to the east northeast. So yeah, I, I I know they're probably prepared for this, but still, it's not a great situation. I'm going to go through the hurricane models and what they show. Um, this is the HWRF, moving forward in time with it. 970 millibar, arguably a Cat 2. Max wind 79 knots, which is roughly maybe 90 miles an hour. And you see the magentas here. There's Bermuda. So usually the highest winds are long into the 90 knots, but it appears it wants it to make it more intense right before it reaches the island and maybe weaken a little bit, but I don't know. It just depends on when the extratropical transition takes place, and they're talking about a sting jet, which is a company's extratropical transition, and it often has a short duration of really high winds when that is going on. So just have to see. Uh, HMON hurricane model, pretty much similar, just to the north a little bit. And there's Bermuda. Highest winds are over here. But again, whether the center passes directly over Bermuda or not, I think is a moot point. It's still going to be high impacts. Near Bermuda, this is the Hase hurricane model passing to the south. Just missing with the highest winds with this model, okay? And the track really matters as far as most intense winds. I guess, when it comes to this island, if it's off by 100, 150 miles with track, then there's definitely a huge difference in whether the winds are going to impact it or not. So, but I think either way, whether it's the north or the south, I think it's going to be close enough. Whether or not it directly goes over it, that it's going to have major impacts. All right. So, this is Hasp is a little bit to the south. Hasp A is about the same thing. Okay. GFS a little bit weaker and passes it more to the south here, which would be good news if that happens, right? But this is a more recent run of any of the other models, except, well, all the GFS based models are at 00Z. The European is not. So, and the European wants to go north of Bermuda here, and it wants to intensify it more after it goes past Bermuda, likely during extratropical transition, right? So, if y'all watching from Bermuda, let me know, and let me know how things are going there, because I want to make sure you're all right there. Well, let's look at the ensembles real quick, just for to make sure we're very thorough with this. They're really tightly clustered from the Gould Deep Mine. Um, the other Gould Deep Mine, straight right, very tightly clustered, but right over Bermuda. I'm having to update this, sorry. And see the GFS, a lot of the members want to go just south, which is interesting. Hopefully that happens. We'll have to see what the next update from National Hurricane Center says. European ensemble. It's a little bit south too, some of the members, so that would be good. Anyway, the message here is very high chances of at least tropical storm force and 58 knots, potentially hurricane force winds on right over Bermuda the next 12 hours, 12 to 18 hours. Winds, rip currents, waves. And that's what I'm going to go over next is the wind and rip current risk for Bermuda. Not the wind, excuse me, the wave heights. And if I can find a graphic for the rip currents of Bermuda, I will. And then we're going to go over the global tropics and future tropical outlook. Okay, so this is a 5 a.m. update for Hurricane Imelda, National Hurricane Center. Expected to bring damaging hurricane force winds when it passes over Bermuda late this afternoon or this evening. Hurricane warning is in effect for the island. Flash flooding is a distinct possibility. and large and damaging waves. And swells and high surf are still moving towards the continental U.S. from Humberto and Imelda, and into Bermuda as well. Rip currents are definitely a problem as well. I wasn't able to find a rip current map for Bermuda, but we can assume on the western shores, excuse me, that rip currents are a definite problem today, are going to be, and already are. Uh, this is the latest cone zoomed in. Expected to be a hurricane as it's moving right over Bermuda um, sometime late tonight or tomorrow morning. This is the latest tropical storm force wind probability map as of 2 a.m. I don't think there's a more recent one. All right, so not sure why it's only 2 a.m., but that's the best I can do. Near 100% chance of tropical storm force winds over the island. Okay, and close to the same thing for nearly 60-mile-an-hour winds on the island. Okay, with higher gusts and hurricane force wind probabilities near 70%. Um, and the probabilities may go up or down based on where it finally tracks. I think that's why the probabilities are a little bit lower right now, because a little bit of uncertainty about exactly where it's going to go, but it could increase the chances. And if it goes right, just depends where the center goes and where the maximum sustained winds are in the storm. So um, hopefully we'll know more shortly. This is the wind field. If you noticed, the wind field's already expanding. Um, and if the storm maintains this wind field like it is right now, and it goes right over there, then likely to have hurricane force winds over Bermuda. Okay. This is the current risk all up and down the East Coast. Humberto and Imelda producing rip current risks as long as they're out there, right? Becoming less of a factor in some of these areas here, but don't let your guard down. Okay. As far as waves go, this is GFS modeled wave forecast. Here, Bermuda, right here. I know it's hard to see. Waves approaching 20, 25 feet near Bermuda um, tonight, tomorrow. It's slowly subsiding. Thank goodness, right? Okay. I know we're ready to be done with these two storms. I'm getting tired of trying, like Mitch West said, getting tired of trying to pronounce those weird names, like weird to us names. I know they're not weird to other people, but um, as far as the global tropics outlook goes, this is the outlook for the week of the 8th through the 14th. 20% lower probabilities, 20% probabilities in the western tropical Atlantic and the Gulf of Mexico on the East Pacific and Atlantic side, and the threat getting higher around Central America, the middle to later part of October because of this climatology in the Central American gyre, which is a broad low pressure spins up this time of year in this area sometimes and can spawn tropical cyclones. So chances are chances are higher that we're going to get something forming in this area uh, later in the month. And so I think I'm not gonna go on to speculate anymore about future tropical development today. Instead, I'm going to go over the national forecast so I don't spend too much time on the tropics. Because there's no other serious threats out there right now other than Imelda moving toward Bermuda. So let's take a break from the tropics and I'll move on to the local national forecast. Okay, this is going to take very long because there's not a lot going on today, really. We have some ongoing precip here in the northwest, showers and storms overspreading some of the U.S. here, but nothing severe, really. Um, Overall, very quiet conditions after, although the tropics are active, a lot of continental U.S. After the weather moved out of here, out of the southeast. Still some lingering low clouds, things like that, along the southeast. And to Florida, you have the excessive rainfall outlook overlaid here. Slight marginal risk along the east coast of Florida, northwest coastline for today. And for tomorrow, this might be till, it's probably till 12Z today, which is 8 a.m. This is for the rest of today. Tomorrow, still marginal risk on the Florida coast here. Um, I'm on the in Nevada, parts of California, Idaho, on the northwest coastline again. And for day 3, just a marginal risk on the coast of Florida. Moving day 4, enhanced moisture still on the southeast coast in the coming days, but that's really the only place, right? And then the day 5, same thing. Some easterly flow setting up here. Um, Look, it's a satellite loop. We can look at this real quick, overlaid with the excessive rainfall outlook, and here's the hurricanes, um, infrared satellite, not going on. Um, so let's move on to the global hazards. I hadn't seen a map with this least amount of hazards in quite a while. Um, we have some flood warnings in different areas here and freeze warning up here in the northeast, but that's it, guys. I mean, can't get much quieter than this. I hate to say the Q word, but that's what it is. Severe weather outlook. Day 1, general thunderstorms through parts of the U.S. Day 2, which is Thursday through Friday. Different areas of the U.S. have chance of thunderstorms. Again, day 3, no significant severe weather expected. Let's move on to day 4 and 5, 6, 7. No high chances of any severe weather in the coming days. That could change, but as of right now, the continental U.S. is deserves a break for a little while, don't we? That's for sure. As far as total precip goes, 24-hour accumulation, at least 0.1 inch. Biggest precip chances on the northwest coast. Of course, we saw all over Florida, parts of Mississippi. Low chances, right? You move through time here. You can see where the highest chances of precip are. Slowly building back in here, really into Florida on the Gulf Coast, where I think there's a relatively small chance of tropical development next 7 to 10 days, but want to keep an eye on it. And Intermountain West seems to be getting the most precip, likely with a system coming onshore, bringing moisture with it. and enhancing the rainfall in that area. As far as the temps go, I'm going to go through this here. This is the maximum temps through next Tuesday, and we're going to go through the slider, right? This is through 8 p.m. High temps today. High temps tomorrow. All right, so you have 80s all the way up in the northern tier. CAD wedge still in place in the southeast. Temperatures in the 70s, 60s, northeast. Intermountain west cooler. Friday. Hot temps are in the Midwest and the northern high plains. So you know it's going to cool down though. You see. Let's move through this. I wish this thing would work right. All right, so you see a front building in here, 70s, right? And the warm temps moving in up to the northeast here. That's likely because of southerly flow developing this way. Okay. Cool temps, nice and cool up here. These are highs, guys. These are highs. So 50s, 60s. I can handle that. And into Tuesday next week. Reasonably mild, except maybe in the desert southwest and the deep south here, of course, but not too far off average for this time of year. Let's look at minimum temps. Go back here. 60s, 50s, 40s, 30s. Look at freezing up here. Intermountain West, the Rockies, cool, right? Thursday, nice, not too bad really. You can see where the blues are, the greens, coolest temps, warmer with the oranges here at night, and some somewhat stifling in desert southwest, which I would expect. Um, Appalachians are cooler, of course. Wow, getting nice and cold here. Might be getting some snow up here in the Denver area. Even in Denver mountains. I mean, the mountains, not Denver itself. 40s, 30s. All right, well, get some snow up there. One of my children live out here in the Aurora, and they comment how nice it is. Next Tuesday, warming up in the southeast, of course, ahead of this front with the southerly flow, and otherwise cooling off quite a bit. We're going to get some freezing temps up here into next week. That's all I got, guys, for today. I hope you all have a great day, and God bless.